It's the August edition of Purposely Unplugged with Lori. Lori, how are you today?
Dave, how are you?
I'm pretty good, pretty
Good.
good. This is one of the topics I've been wanting to deal with for a long time, and you and I have talked off air about it quite a bit, and it's depression. And I didn't realize one of the numbers that stood out to me that I had read on the government website, I believe 39% of Ontario high school students indicate moderate to serious levels of distress and anxiety and depression. That's way too big. We need to do something about that. Let's talk about depression. Can you sort of give folks your background and tell us what is depression? Let's start right there.
Okay. You're absolutely right, though, Dave. The numbers around depression are astronomical. And there's a lot of confusion around depression as well. So I am a licensed, registered, oh, we're going to have to edit that. I am a registered psychotherapist. So can work with any clients that are living with anxiety, depression, panic attacks, trauma. I really have a broad perspective, but depression comes up in many, many conversations that I have with clients all the time. So, what is it? I mean, honestly, Dave, if we think of any part of our body that had a break or any part of our body that wasn't working well, like let's say a shoulder, the tendons and muscles around the shoulder are giving the message for that bone to move and for that arm to work properly. In our brain, we have neurotransmitters and neurons and synapses that are transferring messages about emotions. So, those chemicals in our brain, the dopamine, serotonin, norepinephrine, are actually sending messages through synapses and through the neurons. And those are the chemicals in our brain that are helping us to be happy and to recognize gratitude and be in the moment and just feel joyful. So if those messages aren't getting through the synapses in the brain and through the neurons in the brain, then we're feeling depressed. So with a broken bone or with a broken kind of part of your body, you'd get it fixed. You'd ensure that those messages are getting from muscles, tendons, neurons through. The same thing with our brain, Dave. If we don't have those chemicals processing appropriately, we want to address that. And there's a couple ways. I believe in naturopath support. I believe in medical support. I believe in psychotherapy. Things like yoga and meditation, all of those theories, what come together, a client should really think what is going to work for me and access a
Wow,
few
that's a
different
lot of
supports.
information. Thank you. Another question: what, like you'll hear folks say, "Well, I just had a bad day," or when those bad days. Is it one bad day doesn't mean you're depressed, does it? Like, or does that take a bunch of bad days?
It's not even really a bad day here and there. It's
Okay.
when your quality of life is suffering, when your relationships are suffering, when you lose time at school, when you lose time at work, when the things that used to bring you joy, your hobbies or things you used to like to do, when those things aren't bringing you joy anymore, someone may really want to reach out for some supports. So it's really not about how long. Certainly, there's different degrees of depression, mild, severe, moderate. There's different kind of degrees of depression, but at any point with depression, you really should seek some support.